All right, good morning, everybody. I'm Daren Welsh. I'll be starting us off today, and then we've got a pretty good agenda with a lot of different speakers today that we'll be cycling through. Just to start off, in case you couldn't hear the announcements there, the bathrooms are located just out this hallway here. If you need to get out of the room for just a break, if you go out back the back exit there, there's some normal exits, and then if there's an emergency, we've got the fire exits over here. I've got Wi-Fi information up here, and we should have some handouts on all the tables. So hopefully everybody can get connected to Wi-Fi if you want internet access. Before I get started, I just wanted to ask who saw the game last night. You guys are looking at me like, which game? The U.S. Women's National Team game. They won their first game last night in group play, right? All right. All right, there's some action. Let's get some more coffee in you guys. All right, so we've got a big team co-hosting this event today. We've got Enterprise MediaWiki I'll talk about in just a minute. We're co-hosting with NASA's Strategic Partnership Office, as well as the Technology Collaboration Center of Houston. We're also being sponsored by SGT, Stinger Gafarian Technologies. They're the ones providing the spread back there in the back. So we've got some breakfast as well as lunch on the way later today. So a big thank you to SGT for sponsoring us. Okay, once you're able to get Wi-Fi access, if you don't mind, we'd like you to go to enterprisemediawiki.org. It's all one word, no hyphens or anything. And we've set up a wiki here for you to test out and see a little bit of how a semantic wiki can work. So on the main page, we've got some information for today, including the agenda. So if you want to follow along with the agenda, and all the presentations are loaded on there with either links to the web pages or PDFs. We've also set it up so that you can go and create your own account. It's open right now, so any of you can create an account, and then you can use the person form to fill out a little bit of information about yourself. And this is all optional. It's whatever you'd like to share, but don't feel like you have to post anything personal. It's just some fun information to show how this kind of a wiki can perform. So if you put some information in there like that, using the form, it'll end up looking like this. I'm going to pull up my user page. So you can see I've got a map here showing where I work. I've got my picture there, and I've got my name and where I work, and just some other basic information. Feel free if you want to, share your story or whatever. I just linked off to my MediaWiki user page. Anyway, this information, as you have time to fill it out throughout the day, will show up. Let me go back to the main page here. There's a link here to people data. It's a page that we created that takes that information. You can see some people already filled it out. And it just shows some of the different formats that you can use that data and display it. So we've got some basic tables and lists, but then we've got a gallery of people's pictures, and we've got some other information here. And I'll go through this later in the day in more detail, but just letting you know what's out there. This is all linked off of the main page of enterprisemediawiki.org. Okay, one more thing. I just want you to look around. We've got a pretty full room here today, and I just want to acknowledge that we're not here because we're all experts in knowledge management. We're here because we want to get better at knowledge management. So let's all acknowledge that we're here to learn from each other. Let's be open and share our thoughts, and just be proud of the fact that we're trying to do a better job of sharing our information at work rather than just being complacent and accepting the way things are. We want to change things and make them for the better. So with that, I'm going to hand off to Linda Ham. Let me pull up a presentation here. Oops. There you go. All right. Just the arrow keys.
Okay. That one?
Yep.
Okay. My phone doesn't ring. Good morning, and thank you for coming here today. I know it's really hot here in Houston, so we thank everyone that came from out of town. We really appreciate you coming out for this knowledge management event. I know that formerly MOD, now FOD, Flight Ops Directorate, had been involved in this community for some time and have kind of events over the past years, but we welcome you here today. I think this is the first time we've had it at the Johnson Space Center, so thank everyone for coming. I do want to make a special thank you to SGT for the breakfast and lunch they provided, so thanks to SGT. We really appreciate that support. I think most of you know that NASA JSC, our heritage, is home of human spaceflight and the Mission Control Center. Here you see a picture of the International Space Station, which we're really busy with. We have the 15th anniversary of humans in space occurring this fall. So we've had people on the ISS for 15 years now. We're also home to the Orion spacecraft, which is the spacecraft that we're developing for our next missions, which will be going beyond low Earth orbit and onto Mars. So we're heavy into the development of Orion here at the center, and we did a test flight, very successful test flight last year. In addition, we're helping support commercial crew along with KSC, our center down in Florida. We're helping Boeing develop their spacecraft, and also SpaceX. Many of you may know that SpaceX is already bringing cargo up to the International Space Station, and both are developing spacecraft to launch humans. We're looking forward to that in about the 2017 timeframe. Also, besides operating the one huge vehicle and helping to develop three, we're also developing technologies that we need for humans to go beyond low Earth orbit and onto Mars. Some of these include radiation protection for humans. They include spacesuit development, life support systems to go for that long duration missions, including water recycling, many other things. So many of those technologies that we're developing for applications up in space are also applicable here on Earth, like water regeneration. So we believe that collaboration is a huge part of a changing NASA, and that collaboration is essential to NASA and Johnson Space Center. So one of the things that we've done is we've partnered with the Tech Collaboration Center of Houston. We're a founding member and partnering with them, and this gives us an avenue to spin out technologies that we develop, to spin in technologies that we need for future missions, and also one of the most important things to me anyway is the ability to collaborate with people from all different kinds of companies and universities to develop technologies, get the smart people together and address their problems, because sometimes a solution is something because you're looking at your problem so closely that you don't see, and somebody else may have a solution there for you. So I really believe that collaboration and partnering and listening to others with similar problems will help us develop technologies not only for use on the Earth, but also for use in space. Here's an example of the Robonaut, which we developed with GM, and that's an excellent example of how we were able to cooperatively develop hardware. So GM owns the IP for automotive industry, and we own it for space, so it's an excellent example. So this is why we're here today and doing what we're doing, is because knowledge management is something that all across industries, everyone shares problems. So if we can get the smart people, you said you didn't have the experts here, but I believe there are probably many experts in this room on knowledge management, get our heads together and try to solve some of these problems today. So it's just one of the steps. I'd like to introduce our next speaker, that's Cora Carmody. She's the Senior Vice President of IT at Jacobs. She has 36 years of software and systems experience and spent the last 17 years as CIO of global technology companies, and also is founder and director of a nonprofit STEM program to get girls more involved in technology. So thank you, Cora, for coming. She came all the way from California here to talk to us today.